All right, let's go to work. Now, in my school, with my students and my clients and my fighters, we have a motto here: do it tired. And where that came from was every time I saw people who were kind of like pulling back on the gas a little bit, you know, there's people who were pushing and they were getting tired and they were visibly tired. And then there was people who were trying to kind of like pull themselves back before they were really tired. And that's something that I really don't like. If you're training, put your foot on the gas, empty the tank. You fight how you train. That is something I say all the time to my fighters. So you got to bring that intensity, man. And when you start throttling yourself back during training sessions, you will do that in fights when you need that next gear the most. So I tell people, listen, when we're moving around the room, man, and we are working and we are training and we're doing what I call power pad work, or anything that's getting everyone's heart pumping real heavy and they're breathing heavy and everyone's struggling, I always used to tell people, listen, everyone in the room is tired, so do it tired. How I explain it is that when you're bring your intensity up and then you're going like this and then you're switching, you're like resting in between rounds, or you take a break or you start to throttle back, you start to bring that intensity down. And then when you want to pick it back up, you have to ramp it back up. That's hard. You want to train to a point where you can get it up there and you can kind of set it on cruise control and you can keep it at a certain intensity. But to be able to pull that off, you have to train that way. So you have to learn to do it tired. I think where I initially got that was one of my coaches, my mentor, Master Tran, he used to always say, you could be tired, but don't act tired. Now in the fight game, you know that all the time. You don't want to be the one that's showing that you're tired or that you're dejected or falling back a little bit or that you're checking out. You want to look like you're still confident that you're still in this fight. Even if you are feeling those things, we want to bring that into our training. We want to be sure that regardless of how tired we are, that we can still do it tired. Exhaustion turns the toughest guys into cowards. It just does, in everything. When you allow the exhaustion to pull you in a place that you can't manage yourself effectively in, you fail. An example I tell my students, I say, listen, man, when you're at your job, right? When you go to work, whatever you do for a living, if you're tired, you just didn't get enough sleep, you've got a family, you've been trained, whatever, you're tired at work, do you get to tell your boss, or even if you're the boss, do you get to tell whoever you report to or anyone in general that you can't do it today because you're tired? You can't do your job because you're tired? No, you have somehow created efficiencies, shortcuts, ways, and means to do your job regardless if you're tired or not. It's the same thing with your training. You have to find a way to push through and keep working even though you're tired. And the only way to get there is to push through it. The only way to get there is to push through it. So it's one of those, the only way to get to it is through it. So do it tired. I think the first situation I remember kind of being taught that was when I was first competing in jiu-jitsu. In the first couple tournaments I did, my coach would have us like roll for 45 minutes straight with no water. And it was about just being able to continue to grapple, even when you just felt like you didn't have the air, you didn't have the strength, and you were just thirsty and exhausted. You still had to continue to roll. You had to push through that. And you gain this like mental fortitude that's so crucial. Even if you don't compete, just for the training in general, just for your own growth, just for your, again, mental fortitude, your spiritual strength, all of it, you will gain so much from learning to push through exhaustion. And then of course, by doing that, another benefit is you just get into even better shape. You just start leveling up on a regular basis. Another benefit I tell my students is when you are the one that can do it tired, you win. When both guys are tired, and you've seen this before, the one who can't maintain, he crumbles. The person who can maintain just the fundamentals, and that's another thing, like what do your fundamentals look like when you're tired? People who have a lot of like advanced movement and they move their feet a lot and they have all this energy, it doesn't last. Or they come in with a lot of power, it doesn't last. And that's kind of what they come in with. They come in at 100. So if you're the one that can operate at 20%, 40%, when they can only operate at like 100 or 80%, maybe 60%, you've seen that in fights time and time again where that person can weather the storm and take over. So if you can just maintain your fundamentals, your fundamental strikes, your fundamental movements, your fundamental defense, when you're tired, you win. Of course, fighting is fighting, you can always get caught. But odds are, if you can push yourself, of course, you've got to just be in really good shape. You've got to train to be the best as far as cardio. You have to train to be the hardest worker in the room. You got to push that cardio. That will always be an asset. That will always cover a lot of gaps. From there, when everyone starts getting tired, are you the one that can continue to do what you need to do while you're tired? So remember, when everyone is tired, when you are tired, you need to do it tired. All right, guys, I hope that's a good tip for you guys. I hope that's a benefit to you, your training, and if you compete in your competitions. So thank you for watching. Please be sure to show some love and support for the channel by hitting the like and subscribe button, and we'll keep this thing going. I will see you guys in the next video.